Hey everyone, I am Keshia White and I help new service providers attract premium clients online. The kinds of clients that will pay you $3,000, $5,000 and up for your services. So make sure you grab my free checklist on the 10 essentials that your business must have to attract high-paying clients consistently. So this is going to tell you everything that you may have or not have to make sure you can attract the kinds of clients that you want. So make sure you grab that now. It's in the show notes. And today's topic is going to be all about, should you actually reduce your prices to attract customers? And before we dive into that though, I want you to make sure you like the video, make sure you share the video too if you find this helpful, and make sure you subscribe to my channel so you're notified when I upload. And then lastly, if you find any of these tips to be helpful for you, make sure you let me know in the comments and tell me which tip you like the most. So back to our topic. So should you actually reduce prices to be able to attract more customers? So if you can't tell from how I introduce myself, my answer is a quick no. So the only way I would recommend to do that, maybe if you were a full-time entrepreneur and you were just extremely desperate and you had like rent coming up and you literally just needed enough to pay rent and you were that desperate, then sure. But as a long-term strategy, absolutely not. And the reason why is because a lot of times people don't think that when they reduce their prices, there's other things that are being affected in your business and really even in your life too. So one of the big cons is that you won't make enough money. So if you're not making enough money because you're having to take your prices down, thinking that's going to be a way to book more customers or more clients, then that's not going to work because you're not going to have enough money to cover your expenses. You're not going to have enough money to cover like your actual life that you want to live. You need to buy groceries. You have to pay your rent. You have to buy food. You have to keep the car paid for. So whatever all of your daily expenses are, that stuff is not free. So you're going to have to make enough money to pay for it. And if you're too cheap with your business prices, it's not going to work. And then the second con is that when you reduce your prices, you will end up putting yourself in the position to where you're going to have to be overbooked to be able to make enough money to survive. So if you do end up like booking enough people, a lot of people, because you did something at a really, really reduced rate, you're going to be working around the clock. Like it's going to be very exhausting, very annoying. And it may even have you questioning like, why am I even doing this business again? Because this is way too much time. And once you factor in like how much you're actually paying yourself with the number of hours that you work when you're overbooked, it'll probably be like below minimum wage, which makes no sense. Like, why would you want to put yourself as the owner of the business? Why would you want to put yourself in the position to be paid below minimum wage? Doesn't make sense. And then the next con is that when you are not charging enough, you can't really cover true like business expenses either. So even outside of the personal expenses, there's expenses in your business that you may need to cover. So like if you need a certain type of help in your business, like to maybe a person who can take on some of the work off your plate, you can't afford that if you're charging too cheap. Like you're going to be having to do all the work around the clock by yourself. And even if you need to hire different people for your business, like whether you want to hire a web designer, hire a copywriter, hire a business coach, or any of that stuff, you won't have the budget to hire any of the experts that you may need to help you in your business either. So as you can see, like lowering your prices just to get a few clients, that's not a good strategy for long term at all. And so if you find that you're struggling to attract people, like maybe you did a price increase and you're struggling to attract people at your new price, it's time to examine your results and what you're doing. Like, what are you putting into the business and why isn't it getting the results that you actually want? Because typically that's the problem. Like when you are not booking the kinds of people that you want, there's something wrong in your approach in your business. And I know this from experience because I experienced it myself as someone selling web design services when I was trying to go from selling the service at a $2,000 price point for the package I sold to a $5,000 price point. So there were several shifts that I had to make to be able to book people at the $5,000 rate. And for a little bit, a couple of times I did consider maybe taking my price back down to $2,000 after I increased it to $5,000, and I kept getting a bunch of rejections with nobody booking me at $5,000. But once I took my reality check, I'm like, I'm over here. I was extremely overbooked with the $2,000 clients to the point where my business started to feel miserable and exhausting, and I was doing way too much work and getting resentful to my clients. And so at that point, I was just kind of like, okay, this doesn't make sense. So I know it may be tough. I may be getting a lot of no's, but I know that the only way I can continue doing this is if I charge enough money. So I need to be charging the $5K rate. And so here are the quick shifts that I had to make that can also help you. So the first shift was really shifting the way I was doing my messaging in my marketing on social media. So I had to really get clear about the kinds of clients that I wanted to attract. Like, what type of industry were they in? Like, how experienced were they? What were their top desires and priorities and challenges? Like, what was on their mind right now? And once I was really, really clear on that specific person, and I stopped being generic, because when I was being generic, that was when I was attracting cheap people. Like, when I was just kind of like, I'll help any entrepreneurs with their web design. I got people booked, but they were not the higher end people. But once I got specific, and I decided I wanted to really work with experienced coaches and consultants, that was my target market, then I was able to really position myself as an expert for them by creating messaging with my marketing that would appeal specifically to those people. And it really made them view me as a true expert in their industry too. So even though I was a web designer, they still viewed me as a web designer that was for them, a web designer who understood their needs, a web designer who understood their priorities, who understood their challenges. So that's how you can attract a higher end person, when you have clear, concrete messaging in your marketing that shows that you are someone who has tailored a solution specifically to them. And then the next piece, speaking of solution, is making sure you have a really, really strong package to sell that people would view as a nice premium package. So of course, you don't have to go overboard with stuffing too much in your package, but you also want to make sure it's a nice, complete package with anything that they might, pretty much like everything that they need to get the best result from working with you. And you also want to make sure there's any support included in the package that may help make the experience of working with you a lot better and a lot easier. And the reason why is because when people are seeing that you charge a higher price, they expect a full, comprehensive, very, very supportive package. Like, they're not expecting a low-end package that barely has any support, that you kind of just threw together, that's really generic just because you want to charge your worth. Like, people want to get something great for the money that they put in. So sometimes it's not always about just hiking the rates up and charging your worth. You have to make sure the thing that you're delivering to people is worth the higher price to them in their point of view. So make sure you fill any gaps in the package, make sure it's fully complete to get the best results for the types of clients that you want to attract. And then the third piece is making sure you really position yourself as a higher end service provider. So this goes into your image online. So you want to make sure the way you're branding yourself, like on your website, is very clear, very crisp. The look of it looks very nice, clean, and modern. And it actually comes off as a higher end business, and it doesn't look extremely amateur. So if you use like an easy template with like Squarespace, I have a tutorial on that on my channel. You can make a quick one-page website that is very streamlined, makes you look very polished and professional by yourself, without coding, without having to go out and spend a bunch of money on a designer from the beginning. And so you need to do this and have people be able to read about your services, read about your experience, read about the benefits of working with you before they schedule those discovery calls to work with you through that page. So this is what will really prime people to understand like, wow, this person is really on a different level. Like, I understand why they're charging more after looking at this web page here. So you don't want to skip this step. A lot of people tell you to skip it and they're like, it doesn't matter, you just need a discovery call link. But if you're trying to charge a premium, like you're out here trying to charge $3,000 and $5,000 for what you do, people want to read about you first. Like, they're not going to just want to get on the discovery call and hear everything about you for the first time through a call. Like, they want to hear some of it through the call, but they also want to be able to research and read on their own too before they get to that call. And so the final piece is making sure you're actually good at discovery calls. So I know a lot of times, I also have a video on this too here on the channel, but a lot of times people, they may not have a background where they had to do a lot of work, maybe in sales. And I actually came from a sales background, so it wasn't too foreign for me. But if you are doing discovery calls, like, you have to be able to do them in a way that's intentional and very strategic. So you want to be able to uncover, like, what is it that your person that you're talking to on the phone, what are they actually struggling with? What do they really need help with? What are their top challenges and frustrations? And how will your package actually fit into their life and fit into their challenges and frustrations? And a lot of times people make the mistake of just wanting to get on a discovery call and just jump straight into what their packages are. And they're like, okay, hey, we're on the call. Like, I have package A, package B. Package A has this, package B has that. Which one do you want? But that's not how it works. Like, you want people to feel like they actually really need your package, because if they don't really understand why they need it specifically for them and what are they going through, then it won't really be a priority. It's going to be difficult to get them to pay because they don't feel like they need it. So this is why you need to be well versed in how to do discovery calls. In corporate, they used to call it consultative selling. So you have to act kind of like as a consultant first, and then you kind of sell at the end. So you may want to look into like consultative selling techniques that can actually help you in being a lot more strategic on your discovery calls, so you can gather more information and really be able to show the clients like why they even need what you have to offer. So those are the things you need to do to make sure you can attract clients who will actually book you at the higher price, instead of thinking you need to lower your price to get clients, because you do not need to lower the price to get clients. You need to just improve the way you're showing up in your business and the way you're operating in the business to be able to get the clients that you want, instead of just giving up and going back down. Because remember the cons I told you, you do not want to be experiencing those cons of lowering your rates and charging too little. Like, you want to be able to be on the other side to where you are profitable, you can cover your business expenses, you are not overbooking yourself and exhausted and miserable. Like, none of that stuff is worth it, especially when all you really need to do is just shift these strategies that I just mentioned here. And with a quick shift of these strategies, you'll be well on your way to booking clients at a higher premium rate. So yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed those tips. Make sure you like the video, make sure you share, comment, let me know which tip was the most helpful for you, and subscribe to the channel to let me, so you can know when I upload anything new. And then lastly, make sure you download my free checklist on the 10 essentials that your business must have to attract premium clients consistently. So this will really run down everything you need to attract those higher end people. So this way you can make sure you're not missing anything and everything is on point with attracting those higher end clients that you're looking for. So thanks for checking out the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.